What is a fact that could possibly save your life? If you encounter a mountain lion, do not turn your back on it. Walk backwards. Cats are ambush predators. They don't want to fight you head-on and will wait for you to turn around to attack. There are videos showing this behavior with tigers at the zoo. People will sit in front of the enclosure, and as soon as they turn their back to the cat, the tiger goes into stalk mode. They turn around to face the tiger, and the tiger goes out of stalk mode. Don't tailgate. Don't check tailgaters. Lock your doors at night. If you've been stabbed and the weapon is left in your body, do not remove it. Edit. As has been brought to my attention, lock your door always. If you ever come into contact with a gorilla, especially a male, stay low and quiet, and no sudden moves. Don't look them in the eyes either. They take loud noises and movement as a challenge, and they'll crush you like a soda can. Learn to swim, monsieur. You don't have to be Michael Phelps racing a shark. Just learn the basics. Fast. Face. Arms. Speech. Time. It's a way to spot a stroke. Face. If you've got an uneven smile or part of your face is drooping. Arms. If you raise your arms and one of them slumps or can't be raised as high. Speech. Slurred or unintelligible speech. Time is of the essence. Call 911 immediately. Edit. Guys, I work in a kitchen. Stop asking me specific questions. I'm not a doctor. There is a YouTube video with tips for if your parachute doesn't work. And it's very loud, has captions, and is very fast-paced. Just in case you're skydiving and need tips fast. If you happen to someday find yourself on a sinking boat, and it goes underwater and you're somehow able to get free, beware. Once the air neutralizes, if you're far down enough, water pressure will kill you and collapse your lungs. To avoid this, scream all the way to the top. No joke. While you swim up, scream, monsieur. It'll keep the pressure from killing you. If someone is trying to abduct you and fighting back or yelling for help doesn't work, then pretend to faint or vomit on them, monsieur. If those tactics don't work, then take the chance of getting stabbed or shot. To escape. Once you get in the vehicle with an abductor, your odds of surviving are less than if injured in public. Not really a fact, but someone once told me this. If you wouldn't dare to put your dick in there, don't put your finger in there neither. This is useful, especially with big machines and other things with holes. You can prevent some serious injuries like this. 3 minutes without air, 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food. Actual fire spread shockingly fast. We all like to play what's the one thing you'd grab if your house was on fire? But the real right answer is that if it's not alive, you should leave it and get the hell out. People tend to imagine a fire burning on the floor in a corner somewhere. But the reality is often that it's running across the ceiling and circling around the walls. Just get out. Rhinos, hippos, and buffalo are more likely to duck you up than carnivores. If you're at a bar or club and some asshole antagonizes you, don't let your ego get involved. Seen so many people get hurt when they could just walk away. Funny thing is, most people think fighting back will defend their pride, but to me and a lot of other people, you just look insecure. Be the cool guy who just laughs it off. Yours sincerely, former bartender. Check that there's toilet paper before you're committed. Don't be too proud to ask for help. Life has this odd habit of throwing us curveballs every now and then. It can be difficult to overcome it on your own. So don't be alone. Open up. Confide in people you trust. Seek professional help. And be patient. It takes time. Just don't keep it all in you and fight it alone. That's a recipe for real damage to your mental health and happiness. Never take your eyes off of someone who asks you for anything on the street, be it the time or a donation. Never take your eyes off of them. If you have to tell them the time, have a wristwatch, and take your wrist into your field of view, next to your face, so you can see your watch and the person who's asking, and keep your distance. In a crisis situation, People run for the door they came in from, monsieur, when the shooter walks into the restaurant. Run for the kitchen. There's always an exit through the kitchen, and very few people will think to run there. Plus, if you're not armed, a kitchen is full of killer cutlery to defend yourself with. If the accelerator in your car gets stuck and you cannot stop, shift your car into neutral. The carotid artery. https www.webmd.com/heart/picture-of-the-carotid-artery. When you see someone whose neck was slashed, cut, and is bleeding out profusely, reach for his carotid artery and then pinch it so he'd stop bleeding out. My uncle was saved because of this. Some drunk-ass cunt slashed his neck with a broken bottle. His friend reached for his carotid artery so he stopped it bleeding out until they reached the Mixing bleach with ammonia, both of which are common household cleaning products, can release deadly chlorine gas. Basically, don't mix household cleaners unless you are 100% sure of what you are doing. Assume other drivers are out to kill you. Healthy paranoia when paying attention to other drivers is a great basis for successful defensive driving. If you have a cut that gets infected and see a streak of red going up from it, go to the doctor immediately. It is a sign of serious infection that can lead to sepsis. Learned this one about bear encounters back in middle school, although I'm not sure how accurate it is. If it's brown, lay down. If it's black, fight back. If it's white, good night. If you find yourself peeing a lot, I mean just an inordinate amount, you find yourself tired, thirsty, and hungry all the time, you find yourself paradoxically losing weight, diabetes, every head injury, no matter how minor, has the potential to be fatal. Always treat a firearm as if it is loaded. If you are unfamiliar with the weapon and you must move it, point the barrel down at the ground. Keep it away from your feet and keep your finger off the trigger. Turn into a skid. This is the way it was taught to me. Turning into a skid means the difference of going into a ditch and going into a ditch upside down. Chips can be used as a fire starter. I imagine pretty much any snack food that is starch-based would work. Personally, I find Doritos to work quite well. So next time you're lost in the woods, stop at the next vending machine you see and it might just save your life. In a kidnapping situation where the person is trying to get you to force you to go somewhere secluded or into a vehicle, even if they have a weapon, always fight to not go with them and run. If they're trying to get somewhere private, they are planning to do something very bad to you that requires privacy. It's better to be stabbed or shot at in a public place where people can hear you rather than in a secluded place. Usually making a lot of noise and screaming will scare most offenders off. If you ever get caught in an avalanche and are buried under snow, spit. Gravity will tell you which way is up. If your car is submerged in water, you won't be able to open the door against the weight of the water on the outside pushing it closed. If the car is completely filled with water though, the pressure on either side is equal and the door can be opened. That's the worst case scenario, though, and that should be the last thing you try. The first thing to try to do is roll up or smash the windows and jump out. You have less than a minute to do this. Do not waste any precious time calling 911 until you get the hell out of that car. If your hair on your arm or on your head is standing up on one end during a thunderstorm, lightning is about to strike you. If there is not a building or a car nearby, crouch down immediately. This forces lightning to find the shortest distance possible it can strike. Since lightning strikes the tallest thing in its area, do not put hydrogen peroxide on a deep flesh wound. It will turn your blood into a human slushy. Small cuts are fine, but a deep flesh wound is not. Reading this comment section is making me way more anxious and paranoid about life. Always wait a second after the light turns green before moving into an intersection, even if the light turns green while you're still in motion. If you've gone 2.5 or more days without water, and you have to choose between drinking water without any way to sanitize it or not to drinking water, drink the water. If you don't, you'll definitely die soon. Most of the diseases you can get from bad water take a couple days to set in, which gives you more time to find help. If a fallen power line is still active and you are close by, never lift your feet but drag them along the ground. Separating your feet can create 2 contact points with the ground and can result in a shock. Close your bedroom door at night. The amount of damage done to a room with a closed door by a fire is significantly less than one with an open door. You may have a chance to escape. Edit. Here is a video showing the difference. https www.youtube.com/watch v equals bspo3be74wa and feature equals u2.be and t equals 213. https www.youtube.com/watch v equals bspo3be74wa and feature equals u2.be and t equals 213. Good call. You, Cancer Mom 1,010,101,010. You can do the Heimlich maneuver on yourself. Seriously. Think about how often you eat or snack when you're by yourself, even if someone is in another room. If you're choking, you cannot talk or scream, monsieur. If a friend of yours has fallen through ice into a frozen body of water and you would like to save them, lie down on the ice and crawl out to them. Do not walk out to them standing up. This maximizes your surface area and lessens the likelihood that you will fall through the ices. Well, getting you both ducked. If you ever find yourself caught in a riptide, swim parallel to the shoreline until you get out of the riptide. Swimming directly back to the shore while caught in one won't get you anywhere, and it'll only exhaust you, making it extremely dangerous to do so. In an emergency situation, if you need help for yourself or someone else, don't just yell, "Help," or call 911. Use specifics. Instead, say something like, "You in the blue shirt. Help." Unless called out personally, people have a tendency to walk on by, assuming someone else will help. Using a personal detail gets them involved.